We're ready. Yeah, we're ready. 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 We're ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready. 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 We're ready for the road. We're ready for the road. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. And I want to welcome all of you, and I have so much thank yous. I feel so blessed. I truly feel so blessed. It's so refreshing and sometimes overwhelming to hear individuals who come out in support of you and are able to acknowledge the work that you have done for your community throughout all of these years. But I want to begin by thanking God for giving me the opportunity to be here today, giving me the strength to put my hat in the race. And I want to thank my family members next, because running for the Senate takes a lot out of your family. And this year even more, because you're going to leave without pay from May 13th. For all education employees. We don't get annual leave, so they stop paying you. So it'll be about 6 months, but we'll live. But I want to acknowledge my family. It's wrong. I agree, and I'm gonna go into that a little after. But I want to give my thank yous first. Everybody, the voice of reason is Lola Graham. When I was coming, I said, Lola, you make me deviate, but I don't think. All right, sweetie. You know Lola going to be canvassing with me, right? But I want to thank my family members who are here. I'm called Vialet. I'm from St. Croix. Vialets are from St. Thomas. My dad is a St. Thomian. Much people don't know because he's a Crucian. He came from St. Thomas, met my mom, fell in love, and never returned back. This St. Thomian cooks a better kalalo maafe than a lot of Crucian. And anybody that can cook maafe is a Crucian at heart. So. But my dad is here, Roy Vialet. My mom is here, Helena. So I want to acknowledge both of them. I also have here with me, my brother is here in the room, Jerry, Roy Vialet. He's right there in the back. My only brother. Special person to me. My mother-in-law and father-in-law, very, very supportive individuals. Pauline and Ching. If I say Jose, I don't know how much you know. Very supportive individuals. All the other family members that are here, my two brothers-in-law are here. Miguel and Tony, they're here in the room. Wanda's aunt and everybody else. I want to acknowledge them and thank them. My core committee. I have just a fantastic core committee that's supporting me. And I have been so impressed with the work that these individuals do on a regular basis. And I just want to let you guys know that I really appreciate what you guys are doing. I cherish it from the bottom of my heart. I know that you guys are committing a lot of time and energy, so I want to thank you guys. And lastly, I got to thank my immediate family. I have a dynamic, supportive wife. My wife, Wanda Vialet, she's a stickler for everything being done the right way. And I usually tell a lot of people, I say, you can't win the education argument to me because I already had it home with my wife. So you're wasting your time. We already argued a point for half hour. So your argument is very weak. So, come better. You know, but she's very supportive. She's gung-ho behind my campaign, and you know, I really, really want to thank her. She keeps me balanced. She is the organized person. I always say that a good man needs to have a good woman if you want to move on, and I know I have one, so I want to publicly thank you, baby. But I call her Boo-Boo, okay? She's my Boo-Boo, I call her Boo-Boo. And before I begin, I got to thank my two girls. I love family. I love my family. Anybody know me? You know my girls. I'm always with them. They're now adults, but we still hang together. You know, we go basketball game, everything together. They say, hey, Daddy, let's go game. You know, I like to hang with my girls. I just love them. They've become two beautiful young women. They're getting educated. And that was always my dream, and they're really fulfilling my dreams. So I want to thank Carissa. And Carissa is my petunia. She don't want me to say that, but she's my petunia. And my baby, who is bigger than Carissa, taller than Carissa, Kiminis, and I call her my boom boom. So that's my family. I want to start by saying that I made a decision to run, I think about 4 years ago. And then after I was transferred, it was like a kind of a blessing in disguise. Sometimes you don't know why stuff happens, but it happens. I was transferred to Arthur Richards Junior High School and met a great staff and met a challenge. And the challenge was to turn around a school that everybody in the community felt was failing and had no faith in the children that were attending that school. And I felt that the first thing that we needed to do, and I'm starting this way because I think it's the same thing that we need to do for St. Croix, is the first thing that we needed to do as a staff was to believe in ourselves. And I remember the first meeting that I had, I said to the staff, the teachers, everybody, if you don't believe in yourself, how are the children going to believe in us? If you don't think this school is good enough for your family members to come, how are we going to entice others to come? We got to make it good enough that you're comfortable bringing your children to the school. My two children went to Ricardo Richards School where my wife was. She was teaching there. They had to go there. Because I felt that the school was good enough for them to go to. I went to Complex as a principal, and I felt it would be hypocritical for me to be the principal of Complex and refuse to send my children to the school that I'm serving. So I sent them there, and they did very well. But we built that. And Arthur Richards, I'm not going to say that I performed a miracle, because there were always good people there. I just met them there. And in a short period of time, we were able to make a substantial amount of changes because we believed in ourselves. We went from a promotion rate of 60% when I got there. It was like 58, 60%. By the end of the first year, we were in the high 80s, a 20% jump, just by having students believe in themselves and all of us believe in ourselves. And I say that to say, before I even begin to touch any of the issues, the biggest problem that St. Croix have is St. Croix. Whether or not we want to acknowledge it, whether or not we want to believe it, the biggest problem that St. Croix have is St. Croix. We are so negative towards each other. We always seeking to destroy each other. When something is working, we tear it down because we don't want a person to move forward. You cannot survive. You cannot survive as a community when you destroy your own. I have an argument with my mom a bit, and it's a simple argument. She does say, those blank senator from St. Thomas, what do I do? Always taking everything from St. Croix. And I said, no, ma'am. You can't be upset with the senators from St. Thomas. They're doing their job. They're looking out for their island. And I am not in any way blaming our local senators. I am blaming us as a community. Because as a community, we don't advocate for what we want for St. Croix. We stand here and we want manna to fall from heaven. I am not going to stay here and promise that I'm going to fix everything. I'm going to promise that I'm going to work hard. But if we don't get up and begin to advocate for St. Croix, we are not going to go anyplace. And I told my students the other day, I said, thank God this ain't 1848 or 1878. Because we'd have been in slavery for the next 100 years. We're scared of everything. We got 8% cut, we say, oh God, thank God we got a little walk. I can just be quiet because I'm so glad I still got a little job. Our colleagues get fired. And we stay there and we say, I'm glad it's not me. I'm going to be quiet because I don't want them to see me doing it. But I plainly said, I ain't handing out no pink slip with nobody. That's our responsibility. That is not mine. But we have abandoned this island. We go on the radio, the education system, education system not good. The teachers ain't doing this and that. Far from the truth. You know I brought these young individuals to speak? Because I wanted all to see that they're going where they're becoming educated and they could deliver. Samantha is a graduate, class of 1999, Kilo class of 2003. Aziza, who is in the front, of our committee, class of 2007. All of them educated. The two had to come back and get a job. They got a job at an EDC company. George, who's in the back, Armstrong, just returned home, got a job at an EDC company. We have a lot of educated individuals who are coming back. We have a lot of work that we need to do in education, but we can't continue to destroy our own island. And I want to say, or tell you just a quick story that made me realize how we destroy ourselves. Many years ago when I started working at educational complex as a principal, an incident happened in St. Thomas in which a student was found with a, not a student, an individual was found with a shotgun in the back of a car. And somebody called Adi Atley show and said, Adi Atley, did you just hear that they found a student with a shotgun in the back of a car across with a gas station? And Adi Atley said, how do you know he was a student from Charlotte, Mali? And the person calling in said, well, Mr. Atley, the student had on blue and blue. And Adi Atley calmly told him, again, I ask you, how do you know that is a student from Charlotte, Mali? Not our Charlotte, Mali student. You don't come and call my station talking anything negative about Charlotte Mali High School unless you know that it is factual. If that phone call had taken place in St. Croix, we saw a student in gray and white with a shotgun. Oh, he from complex, who been with he? It is the psyche that we follow. Shortly after that, I was at a meeting for education. This is long ago before any of this administration, and everything has been going on long. So it's unfair to blame any administration or any one group. It's really unfair. But there was a meeting in St. Thomas, and the meeting was with education officials from St. Croix, and this was back in the early 90s. And the commissioner at that time asked the superintendents, St. Croix, what do you need? St. Croix said, we're good, Commissioner. Commissioner then asked, St. Thomas, what do you need? This is how I walk with the list. I'm so glad you asked. And they started naming about 25 things. We need this, we need that, we need this, we need that. They are advocating for their island. And they have a right to. When it comes to cutting budget, you tell St. Croix, I need 10 position cut. The Crucian say, I got 15. You ask the St. Thomas, I need to cut 10 position. They say, Mr. Me know about that, I barely got one. I'm going to give you one name. And we got to reach to the point where we're going to support each other if we're going to move forward. If we're not going to support each other, then everything that we attempt to do is going to be in vain. Everything is going to be in vain. We got to become pro-St. Croix. We got to become pro-Virgin Islands, but St. Croix first. We got to be able to, when you don't like something that somebody does, to pull them on the side and blaze them. But when you go on the radio, you don't. You're supporting the St. Croix because they divide us, you know. They have divided us with East and West and that. And so they divide us. And they laugh at us because we're quarreling about what can be placed in West versus Christian stead. Hey, you don't like this. We talk quarreling about ethnicity, this group, this, that. And all the time, they're advocating for themselves. And they have a right to. So until we reach to the point that we are going to advocate for St. Croix, we will have problem. Secondly, we need to learn to take constructive criticism or have debate on major bills. Because somebody don't vote for something don't mean they don't support it. It means that they had a concern. And you have to listen to the concern. Neville get blazed, he get blazed for his vote on the Diageo bill. Correct, Neville? However, if you ask him, he was not against Diageo coming to the Virgin Islands. He was in support of it. Can he get blazed for the Jovensa bill? He was not against Jovensa. He was against the agreement and the way it was crafted. Now, instead of us carefully looking as to what is going on and realize that all of these individuals are supportive, but perhaps we need to look at what we're doing because it's going to benefit us in the long run. We go and we just have this campaign against they're anti-this, they're anti-administration, they're anti-that. And I'm saying, hey, we got to stop painting people as anti-this, anti-that when we're debating topics. Now, Anne spoke a reality, and it's very, one of our main issues that we have is that we're not reading enough. And a lot of things are going over our head and we're not realizing what's happening. That bill for the cover over was passed in Congress. It went to the Senate and it failed 54 to something. When it failed, it meant that the $70 million that we supposed, that we already have, that they're giving us back, it meant that we no longer, it has not been approved, therefore we should not have gotten it back. They went on to say, well, we're going to meet again in November, and we're going to see if we could get the extender passed to cover over. If it's passed, we're good to go. But the ramification is, if it's not passed, they gave us that $70 million, so we got to pay it back. Half of the $70 million, we already gave to the companies. Plus, the next $70 million that we're expecting next year. So that's 140. So I think the figure we're supposed to get back now is what, like 240? 242 means that unless we are successful, next year we're going to get back 102. Half of that gone, we're going to get back 51 million. We got to really begin to analyze what is going on. If we do not analyze what is going on, that St. Croix has the potential to grow the Virgin Islands. Has the potential to grow the Virgin Islands. It is the only place that we can actually expand to the level that we want. St. John, 3/4 of it is National Park. They can't even build a school over there. They want to take land from St. Croix to build a school in St. Thomas. Okay? Instead of telling the federal government, give us those acres for education. We're not giving you all St. Croix land. We're not giving it to you. But they want to take our land to build a school over there. Our middle class has gone through a lot of pain in the last 2 years. Whether or not you were for Jovensa or against Jovensa, Jovensa leaving has caused a serious detriment to this community. St. Croix struggling. Christiansted, struggling. Frederickstead, struggling. In the night you could drive Christiansted and there's only 2 cars driving through the town for 15, 20 minutes. The bypass helped to kill it. I love the bypass, it's a wonderful road, but wrong time. St. Croix is upstairs, across the street, in ICU. How are we going to change it? Now I propose, as I said, the middle class. And the 2 areas immediately that I see that we can work on that would be able to grow the middle class and grow it as quick as possible. 1, where we are right now. That's why I had this here. People say, why are you having this at the cardiac center? I said, hey, we're paying for the place and there's a contribution to the hospital. But we had this hospital here and we had an individual from the States that was here that was doing open heart transplant. About 3 years ago, Ann, people were coming to St. Croix with insurance to have surgeries done. Somehow, I don't know what happened, but that person left, totally frustrated, and we stopped offering that service. We spent millions of dollars on this facility. Millions of dollars right here on this facility. We need to hire specialists and stop bickering about the monies that a doctor make. We got to hire specialists, pay them the money, and bring them back to the Virgin Islands so we could stop the glut of individuals, millions of dollars, leave here every year to go to Cleveland Clinic. They have said that when you go to Cleveland Clinic now, it look like you're there in St. Croix. Hey, how you doing? You up here? You up here? Who you don't go to? It looks like St. Croix. What we're not realizing is that everyone that goes to Cleveland Clinic has insurance. Everyone that stay here, a lot of them don't have insurance. That is uncompensated care. So we're losing money repeatedly. Wasn't it make more sense for us to take a quick feasibility study, and it doesn't take long, college student could do it to the University of the Virgin Islands, and analyze how many Virgin Islanders are going to Cleveland Clinic, what are the ailments, so that we can hire doctors for those ailments, bring them down here, and let that insurance money stay here. If they're treating them here, they have to go to our hospital, they got to pay this, the room to have a surgery. We're going to make money automatically. But we have to create that healthcare system that is going to be able to serve the need of St. Croix right here. You know, and I believe in the Wangdowi Hospital because it took excellent care of my parents. Excellent care. So I believe in the Wangdowi Hospital. But if we don't stop that money from leaving this island, we're going to lose this hospital. And that is where I say that we have become very complacent. Because this hospital has been in trouble, and everybody's just like, oh, I'm not worrying about it. It's going to last. Somehow, they're going to figure it out. It's in trouble. And we need to bail it out. This cardiac center should be marketed to the entire Eastern Caribbean. They should not have to go to Puerto Rico to see it. They should be coming here. And if they're coming here, you know what happened? A bunch of auxiliary service pop up. Hotels where they could go to because they're ailing. Right across the street, you build a hotel, small, 20 rooms. Every major hospital across the country have all of those support services. Have little restaurants where you got to go and eat. Automatically, you're going to be expanding our middle class. Doctors are going to be in that middle class group. And with that, my next area that I really want to advocate is that the Senate, and Senator Gittins, you're the only one here, so I got to tell you, we need to pass legislation to make sure that the medical school is built on St. Croix. If we don't do it, take my word, it will be built on St. Thomas. So you got to put them to the test. And we have to mandate that it is built here. A number of years back, a medical school said they wanted to build on St. Croix. They put money into escrow, $5 million. They were told, you better build 2. If you build 1, you ain't building none. The guy got tired, and he pulled his money out of escrow, and he left. He had the money in escrow ready to build. Now we have just had a next grade contribution through UVI and one of the ADC companies. They have put money there to build a medical school. We need to make sure it is built here. And in order to get that done, Kenny, my next recommendation, I'm saying, I say that once things are done, I don't care actually who does it. But in order to get ready for that, we need to expand the bachelor's program at UVI. It's totally outdated. We have children from St. Croix who want to major in biology. They apply to St. Thomas. They don't have a room. They're on the waiting list. They get frustrated. They go to the States in droves. And I know this for a fact because they have come to me and told me that. What is the reason why that we're so scared to expand UVI and St. Croix? That is the next way that we're going to begin to expand the middle class. Because when we expand the university, we need professors. If we build domes, more domes, we need support services. So you're going to immediately expand what we presently have. UVI has an Associate of Arts degree in nursing at St. Croix. The credits aren't accepted in St. Thomas Bachelor's Program. Same university. And I'm not lying, ask Jenny. Right? And her daughter is a nurse. The program was designed without collaboration of UVI St. Thomas. So when our children did the associate here and they're going to apply for it, half of the credits weren't accepted. The same college. But there's a solution. Create a bachelor program at St. Croix. Create it. I spoke to Terrence Joseph this week, and I was talking to him just about scholarships, etc. And he said there was a wonderful idea. I don't know who it is. I think it was Senator Dow. But he had installed a $10,000 scholarship for individuals who want to major in nursing from the Virgin Islands. They had 200 applicants. 200 Virgin Islanders who are going to study nursing with a limited amount of scholarship. But guess what? That $10,000 served as a tremendous enticement for our students to go away and study nursing. So we now have so much Virgin Islands nurse. They're all over America. They're all over America. But then I said, if that work, and the clinic? Okay. I said, if that work, why don't we look at the next area that we're having so much trouble filling? We, this year, had over 50 substitute teachers teaching in the public school system in positions that we cannot fill. Next year, it might go to 70. Why is it that we're not offering scholarships to Virgin Islanders to go away and study science education, math education, special ed, and make sure that they come back home to teach? We were so short of teachers that we had to fly in an abundance of, and they're my friends, I like them very well, they're my colleagues, I respect them because they got themselves educated. But we had to fly in Filipinos and individuals from Jamaica to fill our void. Guess what? Jamaica and the Philippines had an excess. They could have sent us teachers in droves. So we got over 50 Filipinos in 1 year, over 40 Jamaica, and we were not filling that void ourselves. You're always going to have situations in which you have individuals coming in, and that is good. But you really have to make sure that you take care of your local workforce. You got to do that. Our sister island, Puerto Rico, They don't allow any and anybody to come in and take their jobs, you know. They fight. Sometimes violently. They have parked dump trucks and blocked the entire airport for 4 miles and refused to move it because they're fighting for what they believe in. I remember at one point they allowed thousands of pounds of chicken to spoil on the dock because they said they are violating the amount of pounds that they're to bring in. Our chicken farms must make money. And that leads me to the next point. St. Croix had 2 industries that was off the chain. Off the chain, second to none. Some of the best that I've ever seen. What do you think they are? Brow and Island Dairies. How is it that we allowed Island Dairies to close? Realizing that it was going to jeopardize the milk that we're receiving, and it was going to jeopardize our entire school lunch program. Right, Ms. Carver? We are so complacent that our children haven't had milk for months in the cafeteria. They're drinking water. But guess what? Parents happy. Because they don't complain. They're happy. There's no issue. Ask Miss Lang, we got to hustle. Miss Lang, we need water. Send somebody quick. By, who would have bought from back then in LaGrange? Christopher. Go buy some water quick. And then we have a bunch of little plastic cup. We get the children them a little cup of water as they go through. Guess what? When we don't solve milk, our meals are disallowed. We probably serve about 3,000 or 4,000 meals a day. 3,000 or 4,000 meals a day are disallowed. It was $1.78 years ago. I think it might be like $2 now. We're disallowing over $6,000 every day. In a week, $30,000. In a month, $120,000. So guess what? Next year, we're not going to get the money back. So our school lunch program is going to be severely affected. Right now, our food service workers are per diem. I'm so sorry for those people. I say, Lord, God, bless our soul. Slaving behind a stove for 6 hours a day. Not paid for any holiday. Not paid for Christmas. No insurance. No retirement. And working behind a stove. Now, one of the issues have been that a lot of people in this community have been so happy to see government employees go home. You always hear the joy. Oh, they're too big, they're too large, you need to send them home. They're lazy anyhow, they don't work. Some of that we bring on ourselves. But what we didn't realize is that for every government employee that you send home, is one less person paying into the retirement system. It's one less person that have medical insurance at the hospital. So what you're doing is that when you think that you're saving $100,000, you're ending up paying millions. It only takes one person. If you cut 5, like when we cut the dishwashers, you cut 5 of them. They're only making $20,000. You understand? So with a fringe, maybe 28. They're making barely over $100,000, those 5 combined. It only takes one of those individuals to get sick and go in ICU for a month to eat up the entire cost in uncompensated care. So we weren't looking at the bigger picture. But we were just looking at, we need to cut. We need to cut. Oh yeah, they're not doing this. And we were not looking that government employees are a viable part of this community. Retirees are a viable part of this community. So when you're complaining about they're receiving this, they're receiving that, these are the same individuals who are going for dinner, who's buying gas, who's going in the grocery store. They're contributing back to this community. You cannot have a balance of 1-to-1 and the retirement system is going to work. Public Works is next to nothing. When my mom worked at Public Works, there was, every division was filled with employees. There were less contracts. So things got done. But now you cut everything, and we are suffering. And we're really going to need to change that psyche. But a lot of times, we really don't analyze or carefully think what is happening. And when they tell us something, we don't agree with them. So when they say you have too much government employees, everybody say, oh, yeah, they're too much. We need to look at those areas where we are already paying, like the school lunch program, all those employees that are per diem, we need to bring them on full time. We're going to get the money back. It is the same way like an investment in education. You get the money back. It might be costly now, but you're going to get it back in the future because your jails aren't going to be filled, or you're not going to have all of the social problems that we have. So we got to get it going. Now on the economy, as I was saying, the biggest factor besides Hovensa leaving, that was here before Hovensa left, was here when they were leaving, and is here after they have left, is WAPA. WAPA is killing this community. Because of the high rates, we no longer have that disposable income that you could go and shop, that you could go and purchase stuff that you need to. Now we're supposed to be getting a tremendous savings come the end of this year. And we're going to have to make sure, that we see the change immediately. We're supposed to get 30% reduction with the conversion to propane. 30%. That is the figure that they testified, and it is the figure, the lower end of the figure that Hugo had said that we're going to receive. And when you look at the cost of the fuel and everything for it, you could see that we should realize that 30% saving. Should receive. So if your LEAC was $200, it's going to decrease by $60. Should see the savings. Now my next question was, what else can we do for WAPA? Most people say, leave WAPA alone because they can't fix. But my thing is, there's no way that it could be one of the highest in the Caribbean. The highest all over. It's just way too high. I ain't gonna even get into things. It has to have a fix. So one of my questions was, I read a story about 2 years ago in which WAPA brought in a new turbine into St. Thomas. And they said that they were able to rent that turbine while they were fixing a unit. And they were able to rent that turbine by the savings that they realized because of using a more efficient system. So my question then to them was, and I asked Mr. Hatch this just recently at Taste of St. Croix, I said, hey, what would be the savings to WAPA if you had all new turbines? What would be the savings? How would that increase efficiency? He said, savings about 15%. 15%. So then my next question was, what do you think if we are supposed to float bonds to bring in new turbines for WAPA, realize that 15% saving, but instead of passing the 15% on to the consumers, you pass 10% and you take the 5% to pay back the bonds. Can you guys look at the math to see whether or not that is viable? And are we going to have to do creative stuff like that if we're going to get the price down? We're going to have to do that. We're going to have to really analyze when that solar project that they have by Machuchal, when that comes onto the grid, what is going to be the savings and how are we going to see it? The biggest challenge that we're going to have as a community with all of these savings that we're supposed to get from WAPA is going to be whether or not we're going to be able to force our business owners to pass the savings on to us. All of the prices rose, and I'm pro-business. I want to get that all one time. I'm pro-business, but I'm pro-St. Croix. All pricing of Virgin Islands raised because refrigeration, the cost of electricity, so everybody had to go up, and that's understandable. But now when everybody go down, how are we going to be able to ensure that that savings is going to be passed on to us? And that's going to be very important to know, because price is supposed to drop across the board when that happens. It's supposed to. Grocery stores, everything, they're supposed to drop. And, well, you can't really do price control because we're not a socialist government, but there are ways that you could go around it. But that leads to the point where we really have to make sure that as a Senate, because a lot of stuff that they put on you is not really the job of a senator. But this Virgin Islands have just got it into this phase that anything go wrong, they blame a senator. So, Patrol, senator. But Patrol is really who? Public Works. You know, Patrol is an executive branch function. Give me 1 minute, so I don't lose it. Crime, you call a senator. Crime is a function of public safety. Now, where I believe that we go wrong as senators is that we got to stop, and we got to have the opportunity come January, whoever gets in, you have to stop the process of just rubber stamping anybody that is sent to be a commissioner. It can't be that, oh, I know he from then, he went to school with me, so bam, I'm going to make him a commissioner. You know, we really have to find out, you know, how are you going to be able to help us? How are you going to be able to fulfill your duties as a commissioner? How are we going to be able to call your office and let them know that we have a pothole so we don't have to call the Senate? We put too much responsibility in the wrong areas, and we have to force individuals to be accountable if we're going to move on. We're going to have to do that. There's no other way that we are going to be able to move forward unless we make individuals responsible. No way. Now, since my last Saturday was public safety, even if we're supposed to get the economy going, if we don't get crime under control, nobody ain't coming. If we don't get crime under control, nobody don't really want to invest. People want to go to town, have dinner, and be able to walk to the car without getting robbed. And it's a fundamental right. If you want to grow an economy, that environment must be safe. Now, I read a number of studies just to see how they were able to cut crime in high crime areas very effectively. New York did it. New York had rampant murders out of the sky. And when Giuliani was there, he simply, and Booker did it in New Jersey, all they did was they did an analysis as to when crime occurred, and they rescheduled the officers. Why do you need the bulk of your officers or the same amount of officers working between the hours of 8 to 5 when everybody had to work and everything going on? Most of the crime takes place in the night. You got to saturate your officers when crime is taking place. You got to saturate them. You got to take everybody off from all of the special duties that they have and assign them to the street for X period of time. You have to declare a war on crime. And you got to say, hey, you know, we can't have this comfort zone no more because we're losing this community. So everybody, we don't need that desk work. We need nothing. Leave all the paper behind. Leave everything behind. Let's make our streets safe, and let's go out there and fight it. Every time I read that a next body was dumped in the rainforest, my question is, why we don't have infrared cameras going into the rainforest? What is wrong with us with this camera system that we can't put a camera system where if a crime occur at 9 o'clock and they're driving a blue car leaving town, we just go to the camera and we zone in and we could see everything. We could play it back. You know how we solve most of our incidents at Arthur Richard School? I have 105 cameras. So you know what we do now? Anything that happens, if a student come up and say, Rena just hit me, Mr. Vialet. Where did she hit you? In front of the library. What time? A little bit after first period. Okay, sit down. And I just play back the camera. In the camera, I see Rena went and hit the person first. So, our conferences are very easy now. Because all we do is we play the camera. We don't waste time. A fight happens, we just play it back. We let the parent watch it. Half the time they watch it, they say, give me the paper. I don't even want to have a conference. Just give me the paper. You're good for nothing. You're so stupid, you do it under the camera. We had an incident where a student lit a paper, caught on fire outside the classroom, smelt it burning, we run up. Person disappeared. You go in the classroom and you want to know, well, anybody saw anything? And turn and smile and they think they got you. Let me see how you don't find out this. We just asked the teacher what time. Then she tell us, 10:35. Play that camera from 10:35 when the paper burning. We catch the paper burning. Rewind. Man, we see the child hand going down. Coming back up, and we just rewind it straight to the classroom. The door, the child came out. Switch cameras. Bam, we have the face. Call the child to the office. Young man, we just got information that you lit a paper. Not me. You got any proof? Me, not me. Yes, you're the... Not me. I swear to God. When we play the camera, oh God, I'm so sorry. It's going to deter crimes. On the mainland, if you go through a toll station and you ain't pay, you click, you go to the car rental, you got a ticket. So what's the issue with us, you know? I mean, it's very click, easy. Every car being photographed come out of town. But you have monitors there full-time who are working those cameras. At a certain time in the night, they're spinning them because they know drug activity go down here. They know people that get mugged in this area. We got to do it. New York had a controversial stop and frisk. It was challenged all the way to all type of code system. The last mayor that just got out of New York, they told him, what do you think about your illegal stop and frisk that you had for such a long period of time? He said, I don't care whether or not it was legal. It stopped crime. It stopped crime. My position has been, you know or you feel a car has guns or drugs in it, stop it. Legal or illegal, stop it. You lose the case, fine. But a gun is off the street. So once you can take that gun off the street, our community is safer. Now the big argument that I hear all the time is that we don't manufacture guns. And I'll wrap up just now, because I like to talk, so I'm going to wrap up. But they say that we don't manufacture guns. And I agree with that. Wholeheartedly. We don't manufacture guns. Somebody bringing it in. And it's wrong. But I want you to think about this. And I want you to think seriously about this. And you don't have to respond. I just want you to think. Do we manufacture murderers? That's all I want you to think. Are we manufacturing murderers? When we begin to internalize that, we're going to be at a better place. I'm going to wrap up, but I'm going to say, if you think the worst is here, the worst is yet to come if we don't change. You guys don't know. I don't have an inkling of understanding what we are serving in the schools. I don't have an idea. We have gone to a different level because of all of the socioeconomic problems that we have in this place. 20 years ago, I never met a cutter. Have you guys ever met a cutter? You know what's a cutter? Students who take a razor blade and cut the hands, the stomach, the legs when they're stressed. I call human services for a cutter that we had severe, and poor girl, she's diabetic. And she was cutting herself because of the household and what was going on in the house, abuse in the house. And when I called them to get that child out, they could not take that child that day. And she had cut herself. She had came into the main office there at complex. She was bleeding, her hand all over. I swore that she was in a fight. She had cut herself. with a razor blade all over her 2 arms. And I called Human Services. They were not able to service the child that particular day. We're going to see if we could get somebody there. We're going to see this, we're going to see that. I ended up giving the child $20 because she told me about the abuse what was happening at home with the dad. I gave her $20 and I gave her my cell phone number. I said, if he abuses you again, call me. Take this $20 and get out of the house. Call me, I'm going to pick you up and I'll find you someplace safe to stay the night. She called me this Saturday. Mr. Vialet, I'm having a problem again. Look like he's going to come after me again. I said, leave the house. Meet me. She said, I don't have the money. I said, well, I gave you $20 yesterday. How you ain't got the money? She said, when I went with that $20, I had to buy food. I had to feed my brother, them were hungry. I don't have that. She then said, don't worry, I'm going to lock myself in the room. We got children coming to school who don't have electricity. We got children coming to school dirty every day because they don't have water to wash. Some of them we ask them, why your clothes are so soiled? They don't have any detergent. They're washing it in plain water. The shirt is brown from the very beginning of the school day. You know what happened? The student now becomes a fighter. Because to survive, you got to really be bad. You don't want nobody to talk about you. The only way they're going to talk about you is if they're afraid of you. Then when you pass across them and you're soiled, students whose skirts are all ripped. We're suffering in this community, people. We're suffering, and we're suffering because we have become so indifferent to everything. We no longer care about everybody else. And we have to move from that position where we're at. If we're going to move this place, more of us need to get involved, and more of us need to contribute back. When the St. Thomas come over here with a steel band, or one queen, like I said, when we used to go to Antigua with Miss St. Croix, we only got money for 2 chaperones. We walk in with 1 boss maybe for makeup and help with the dress. When St. Thomas walking, 15 people with Miss St. Thomas. That entourage. Hey, where are you getting the money from? They're looking out for themselves, rightfully. But we here, 4 people, no sir. Now when she go, she like trip, she going Antigua to hang out, she going. It's just a difference in the way that we think. So guys, I'm offering my candidacy. And I'm cutting my speech because I had such wonderful endorsement before that I just got to say, just listen to them. Spread the word. Vote number 13. I hope you guys are ready for Vialet. I'm ready to serve this community. I have been serving this community for years. My hardest part of this campaign is going out and bragging, because I don't believe in bragging about yourself. I believe that your actions should be a reflection of your capabilities. So I am hoping that you guys can spread the word out and vote for Vialet. But along with voting for Kurt Vialet, I want you to carefully look at the other candidates that you're going to be voting for. I can't call no names, because it's a problem if you call names, and we're all friends. But carefully look at the individuals that you're voting for, because come November, we want a good team. But we want a good team after November to be meeting immediately that we are a St. Croix Coalition. And we want immediately after that to be able to sit down with the governor that was elected before they are sworn in January, and sit down and say, hey, these are our concerns for St. Croix. We have to push St. Croix forward, so we want you to be ready so that when you hit the ground and we hit the ground, we could both run together. Because if one person running and one walking, somebody will fall down. So vote number 13, you guys. I want to thank you guys so much for coming out. I appreciate you guys being here.
Are you ready?
This song was done by Fusion Band. Made this little jingle here for me. My brother wrote it. Kevry, Pam Pam, and Blackis.
Are you ready? Tell me ready. 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 The time has come to find a man ready for Vialet. That won't be afraid to take a stand ready for Vialet.
Everybody, the refreshments outside. Please don't leave without having some refreshments. Everybody, please have something.
We're ready, we're ready, yeah, we're ready, 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 we're ready, yeah, we're ready.